KVJ After the Show podcast.
Kevin's eyes look insane, but he's got new hair. Virginia is a witch, and she farts in her chair. Jason is a spaz who's got an old man's ass. Welcome to the After the Show podcast.
Hello and welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast. Happy Wednesday. Oh, yeah. Get our way through it here. All right, got a lot of emails. Thank you for sending those in here. Mail at kvjshow.com. A couple other things to take care of. I don't know if you still have Disney Plus or not, Jbird.
I do.
Did you happen to check out the premiere of The Acolyte last night? It is the latest Star Wars TV show. This one is supposed to take place 100 years before Star Wars Episode 1, the one with Jar Jar Binks.
Here's the thing, and this is what's sad about this whole situation. I could give a flying fuck about that series.
Doesn't excite you at all.
Doesn't excite me in the least bit. First time ever really in my whole existence that I've not been excited or jacked up about Star Wars. They don't make Star Wars for me anymore, and I've accepted that.
Okay.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I don't like what Disney has done to Star Wars. I absolutely hate it.
Okay.
They've changed. I think their story sucks.
It's not me, it's you.
I just don't think they're very good anymore. They took all my favorite characters and turned them into bitches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they started putting this morality story ahead of just great characters and great storylines.
Well, not even that. I just think it's just shitty writing. People are getting
that's it. That's what I'm saying.
In the stomach with the lightsaber, and they can
bad storyline.
Battle back the next day. Fuck that. Not my lightsaber, Virginia.
Does a lightsaber kill you?
Oh, damn it. She got me.
He was so excited to answer that, too.
What?
He was so excited.
Damn it. I hate when I get done in by a snore.
I think you got lightsaber.
I did,
Yeah, you
man.
did. She just put a verbal lightsaber right in your gut.
See, there ain't no coming back.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. Wearing all Darth Vader black.
Okay, does this excite you? A vintage Star Wars Boba Fett action figure.
You love Boba Fett.
Well, what do you mean?
Huh?
Yeah, I have it.
Oh, you do?
I have a, yeah.
Do you have one of these, though? There is a hand-painted rocket-firing bounty hunter. It's one of only 2 surviving examples. It was made for Kenner's line of Star Wars toys in the 1970s.
Yeah, I believe it's the one where they had to stop making it because the rocket from the figure, a kid choked on it.
Oh.
Or a toy like that, a kid choked on it, and they're going, we're not doing that toy.
Wow, an action figure actually took a kid out.
Yes.
Impressive.
Some kind of a choking thing. I can't remember if it was one of those or a toy like that, but that's why they stopped. And that is a very rare figure, and it's worth a fuck ton of money.
Yes, it is. To be exact, $525,000.
What?
But who's going to buy that, though?
A collector just paid that at a auction.
That's insane.
Wow.
You always go, you look at these prices on any of this shit on eBay. Go, who's going to really buy that?
Somebody just did.
There's always somebody.
Yeah. The Boba Fett figures were actually pulled from the production line before even making it to the market. So.
That's why they're so rare, Virginia.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
That gets you back? You back?
Yeah,
We
she'd
went
rather
from-
move on.
We went from Star Wars to Star Wars toys.
I'm here.
It is now the world's most valuable vintage toy.
Wow.
It is the top.
That's kind of cool. The one you like is the most valuable.
I was excited to go up when I went up to Logan to where you grew up. You had talked about you possibly having toys up there from your childhood.
Yeah.
You had stuff I think from your early teens, not at least that your dad had available.
Yeah.
All the shit you were getting me out. ginned up about.
Yeah, I thought I might have because my mom never threw anything out.
Which is awesome. If you go back to your old childhood home and all your toys are still there, that is amazing.
It is kind of a cool thing, right?
Yes, I
have
wish
that.
I had that.
Did you have toys as a kid? I don't say you playing with toys. I just say you causing mischief and fucking mayhem.
I had toys.
What did you
I had
play with?
collectible. I would love pound puppies.
You did.
I did.
My family loved a pound puppy too.
Well, look at that. We have more in common than we don't.
When I was a kid, I had that, not the one that was so valuable, but I had a Boba Fett action figure. And you talk about that rocket that it had. The only thing that it reminded me of, even as a little kid, I just kept thinking, does this rocket not look like a dog's dick?
It does. No, that's always been the joke.
I mean, check that out on YouTube. It looks like a dog's dick. Virginia, I know that you don't know action figures, but that looks like a dog with a boner, doesn't it?
It's got a lipstick, and the Sarlacc from Return of the Jedi looks like a pussy.
So you put them together and somebody getting fucked.
Yeah. I'm going to show Virginia what the Sarlacc looks like.
Show me your Sarlacc.
I mean, my goodness. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, there's if you look for it in Star Wars, you're gonna get it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sarlacc pit.
Yeah.
I mean,
If you're looking for doggy dick, we got it.
Look at that. That hole. You see that
Okay,
hole?
yeah, you put that with Boba Fett.
That's a vagina?
Well, it
It looks more like a butthole.
butthole vagina.
Well,
mean,
you know what he likes.
Look at that. I don't know. You have to watch it in real time.
Okay.
Because I do feel like it's got some vagina-like qualities.
Speaking of dicks, my goodness, I guess you got to watch if you're going to wear tight leather pants. Underwear might be good. Alejandro Fernandez was doing a show, and he had on these leather pants. And tell me if you don't think that's a bit revealing if you're watching on YouTube.
That picture
Whoa.
is I mean, the nut is the big offender.
Is he on stage with that weapon?
He is on stage and he's dancing and he's waving that thing around, and you see a complete outline of his dick, and then his right nut is protruding out of his pants.
The right nut is doing its own thing.
The right nut can sign his own solo career.
The right nut does not want to be part of a group act. It wants its own solo deal. You are so right about that.
The right nut is Justin Timberlake.
Does he not know when he wears that out and goes on stage that his dick would be that pronounced?
And look at his face, too. He's almost kind of showing.
He's like leaning his pelvis forward.
Yeah, it's pretty unreal. I mean,
He's leading with his nut.
yeah,
He's leading with-
He's throwing it out there. It's like he knows what it's going to look like, and he does. He did. That's what he did. He did a thrust forward, and you're like, oh my goodness.
He's got to learn to tuck a little bit better, that nut.
Maybe he doesn't want to. I don't know. That's what I'd like to find out from Alejandro. Is this just your thing? I mean, you know, a lot of people have gimmicks. You know, Gene Simmons used to stick out his tongue and breathe fire. Maybe this guy Alejandro just brings out his dick. And he's like, just take it, look at it.
Well, look, it's just not the peen he's bringing out. That's the controversy.
It's everything. He's got the whole thing. I mean, it looks like it's shrink wrapped.
I think we have a different story being told if it's just the peen. Now that we've got that nut in there, it's a whole different game.
It's everything. It's everything you care to see. It's just there's nothing left to the imagination whatsoever. So, felicidades, Alejandro. I mean, my goodness. He's something. Yeah, I thought that definitely stood out.
You did?
I'm sure everybody is talking about that nut today. That nut's on everybody's lips.
At least in the Hispanic world.
Oh, that nut's doing
I would hope.
That's a crossover nut because we're not Hispanic.
Yeah, that nut's doing a press junket.
It should.
Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, if you turn on Telemundo today, you're just going to see a shrink wrap dick all over.
It's the news people talking, but you just see the nut as the square picture as they're talking about the story.
Yes. It's just, you know, it's going to get me to watch Telemundo today. I'm going to be all over it. Yeah.
How's your Spanish coming?
It's good. It's good. You know, was talking to Denny's about his wife, Jen, who is fluent in Spanish, and she had a roommate for 3 years. She just said, hey, when we're in the apartment together, just always speak Spanish nonstop to me. And I need that because, getting into situations, that's where it is. I can read it pretty well. I was actually out the other day, and they had a bunch of Spanish on the TV, and I was like, okay, I knew pretty much everything was going on. And every sentence, there might be a word. Be like, I'm not positive about that word, but for the most part, I get through it. I just was using the bathroom, and our Spanish cleaner was coming in there, and I was like, oh, was able to tell her to kind of like hold off real quick, and then I was done. I gave her the terminado, and she was like, okay, I'm done. And she went
What's
right
terminado mean?
Terminado.
Terminado, terminado.
That's going to get you in an HR meeting.
Terminado, it's like, hey, I'm finished. Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm done.
Wow.
I would say that.
Very impressive.
Yeah. So a few little things here and there, but nothing like that. I want to be able to just walk through and not have to think through it, and it just naturally comes up. So, and I don't know, without that fully immersive environment, I don't know if I'm going to get it.
I do. I know what you mean.
Yeah, that's it. KJ said his mother-in-law doesn't speak Spanish. No, she is Russian and Jewish. My father-in-law, he is 100% Mexican, but I don't see him a ton. And then he himself, he's fluent. He can speak it. He gets around him, but I'm not sure how much he speaks.
He would use it if he needed it. He is slick.
Your mother-in-law is Russian.
Yeah.
So she loves Rocky IV?
No.
She doesn't?
No, I don't think so.
Has she ever seen it?
Don't know that she has. I've never sat down and had that conversation.
Oh, my gosh. Really?
Yeah, really. It's never come up.
Okay.
No, he finds that crazy, but I don't sit around talking Rocky, at least not with her. So, and the Queen, doesn't speak Spanish either, much to the dismay and disappointment of her father. So there you go. Yeah, she's Mexican. The Mexican Queen she's 50% Mexican. So for any confusion there. So
people didn't know. People are...
Yeah, she's only 50%. Comes from 100% her dad, and then her mom is not at all. So there you go. Yep, but I'm telling you though, she was blessed. So she looks completely.
Yeah, she's got that Mexican skin.
She
it's
does.
Dark and olive.
Very dark.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
Isn't your mom Mexican?
She is. My mom has darker skin than me, but I favor my dad's skin color more. White, like Scottish, Irish, English, all that.
Is that what your dad is? He's all the ish.
He's all the
English.
ishes. Yeah. I wish I would have got the dark skin, like the Mexican dark skin, and then like the light Irish hair. That would have been awesome. But I got the Mexican dark hair and the light Irish skin.
Yeah.
Everyone tell Virginia she's
It
pretty.
is what it is.
Tell her she looks great.
Great, Virginia.
Oh, you're awesome.
You look great too, guys.
Thanks.
Some people have sent in comments stemming from today's discussion of a mom who doubled down and said, I got kids, and I am not taking my cart back at the grocery store when I get into the parking lot. Jacqueline said, I've got a question regarding the issue. I am a mom, and I always return the cart because I don't want it to hit my car or someone else's car. So my question is, how do you get the kid in the cart? Don't you leave the kid in the car to get the cart? Since it's easier to put them in the cart. What's the difference? Also, when I have my son, I park closer to the cart return. It just makes it easier. I know, Virginia, you're very much like that woman was who made the video where you're like, yeah, screw you. I am not taking my cart back.
Very sassy.
Yep.
I just don't think that the cart return is more important than the safety of the kids that I've just put in the car. That's all I'm saying.
April said, having worked at a couple retail stores, I can say that it's not rude to the workers to not return the carts. It's rude to the other shoppers. Leaving carts sitting randomly in parking lots sometimes blocks available parking spaces and, most importantly, puts vehicles at risk of damage. If these mothers find scratches and dents on their cars caused by road carts, I'm sure they will rethink their cart philosophy. Lock your car doors and take a minute to put the cart in a supplied cart enclosure if one is available, she says. And then Carolyn says, I'm with you, Virginia. I don't return sometimes, and I don't care. Screw them. They don't know my issues.
Yeah, what if you have like some kind of walking issue too, and it's a struggle to walk? They don't know.
I again think there's so much miscommunication when it comes to this specific topic.
Just to be so upset about what somebody else is doing in a parking lot that really has little to do with you seems like a very busy thing to do for someone with too much time on their hands.
The argument is that it does affect people, is that it does
barely
potentially hurt a possible car. I fucking hate talking about this.
People use it as one of those social signals as to whether or not you are selfish.
And I disagree with that because, again, you don't know what's going on in somebody's situation. There could be a million different things going on of why it doesn't happen. Although if you're able to do it, I'd recommend you do it. But again, let's not burn people to the stake here because you think you know their whole story and that they're a terrible, selfish person and they're low life. And I mean, I was seeing some terrible things about, if you don't return the card, how dare you? And I get it, you're passionate, but again, I don't know if we all know each other's stories. And I do think that there's a lot of just miscommunication out there. What the fuck do I know?
Cassie said, I wasn't able to comment on the daycare conversation that you guys had about the crazy cost, how it has increased twice the rate of inflation. And she said, but I did want to chime in saying that VPK is free from 8 a.m. till noon. But for those working parents who would need to drop off before 8 and pick up after noon, they still have to pay for wraparound care. And the cost for that, it's less expensive than full-time daycare, but it still becomes very costly. And Cassie said, I think it's wildly unfair for people to be of the opinion that working families should be completely responsible for paying for daycare in order to work a job that more often than not does not pay enough to cover daycare costs, along with the other incredibly high cost of living these days. She said there are some organizations here in Florida like Early Learning Coalition that can help cover or offset daycare costs if you make under a certain amount a year. So just be aware of some of these assistance programs that they do have. So, yeah, maybe you can find some help someplace.
Yeah, I would definitely look into that because if there's any kind of supplemental help you can get, take it. If it's available, get it.
Yeah, the amounts we were hearing was that somebody was paying $2,000 a month.
I mean, that's just crippling.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Ryan, our bud from Lake Worth Beach, had a couple things to say about the mentally ill that just don't seem to be able to be taken care of here. And he pointed out, like the dude that drove pantsless with a woman's top on through the Martin County Jail and then got out of his car and started throwing rubber snakes and cell phones. Then he was being tased while saying that the devil told him to kill everyone. And he didn't like Donald Trump. Yeah, you know, that's probably a guy that is got some mental health issues.
It also could be drugs.
Yeah, and
Totally.
People lose their mind on drugs as well.
well, you know, and a lot of times they go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
You know, people get into a bad spot that starts with drugs, and next thing you know, they're on the streets, and then their mental health just falls apart. And it is. And yeah, it does feel like we were talking about daycare. Look, I know there's so many needs, and where's the money coming from? But yeah, it does feel like we need to prioritize mental health a little bit more and try to get them in places where they can get treatments, hopefully rehabilitated and back into a productive life. So, yeah, there's a lot going on. We got to figure out the homeless issue, mental health, daycare. My goodness. How do you solve it all? We just need nonstop money, Virginia.
We haven't even touched upon kids dressing up as cats. We
No,
kind
I
of just
know.
let that,
Meow.
let that
Yeah.
one go.
That's it. And the HOA, the one good news is they're going to stop taking so much money with ticky-tack fines. New guidelines take effect July 1st. And it covers various things about getting your trash can back in a certain amount of time, parking a truck or a work truck in your driveway. And Jackie said, yeah, my mom's HOA just passed a rule that you cannot have dogs over 40 pounds, even if you're visiting. So now I can't come visit her with my dog. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know if that's part of those new guidelines or not. You might want to check on that. Can they issue fines and regulate the size of dog you are allowed to have? It's a good thing to know.
It's just so like uncool that they just keep adding more regulations. Like if you already live somewhere and now they just made a new rule that you can't have a dog over 40 pounds. What happens if you already have a dog over 40 pounds? Like, are you supposed to get rid of your dog or your home? Like, who the fuck do they think they are?
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yep. Well, that's why the state stepped in and said, we're going to put up new regulations to put limits on exactly what HOAs can do, because they were putting liens on people's houses for these ridiculous fines they're putting up there. And they said it shouldn't be that way. Because you fly an American flag, they shouldn't be able to come put a lien on your house. And that's
agree.
What that's all about.
It's the American flag.
That's right, USA, damn it.
Shouldn't we let that just be however many people want to fly their flags? Let them fly it. Who cares?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Or if you want to walk around in tight leather pants and show everybody your dick, you should be allowed to do that.
Or if you want to leave your shopping cart. Oh, I'm not talking. I don't.
Engineer Keith tried to give us a simple explanation to yesterday's discussion about the GameStop stock issue and how that was going down and why it became a thing and why they came out with the movie that is now on Netflix. Dumb Money, I believe, is the name of it. He said the simple explanation: hedge funds borrowed shares of GameStop, expecting to be able to sell them high and then buy them back low before the borrowed stock was due. So Reddit users saw this and they started buying GameStop stock to push the price up. And this forced the hedge funds to buy back the stock at higher prices, causing them big losses. And so I guess that's ultimately what shorting stocks and all that kind of stuff was all about yesterday that we had mentioned. So thank you very much for that, Engineer Keith. Still do a deeper dive to understand that more.
I still don't get it.
Yeah, I figured. That's why I stopped there.
Kevin GameStop the conversation because he knows we dumb.
Mm-hmm. And we were talking about some of the worst song lyrics again today. And Daniel said, I've got a suggestion. In fact, if you just really put the song lyric with the video, that's what puts this in the category. Lionel Richie's Hello.
Dude, that fucking video is something else.
Okay, break it down. What are your thoughts on it?
He is he's a professor and he's teaching, I guess he's a drama teacher or something, and there's a blind girl in there, and he's pretty much stalking her the entire video, and he's got the hots for her.
Yeah.
And by the end of the video, you're thinking, why is this old guy following this student around the whole time?
Why does the lyric say, "Is it me you're looking for?" and she can't see?
He walks in, and it's the ending's a fucking twist ending. She goes, "I've always wanted to make this for you." She makes the biggest sculpture of his face.
Yes, remember that.
They are pretty much, I guess, an item now.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Right.
It's just, you're going, isn't he the teacher? And does everyone see him following around singing? He was
It's a lot to unpack with it. When you start pairing songs with their videos, well, it's just like the one we had mentioned, the Benny Mardones, Into the Night. Not only is it the song, she's just 16 years old, leave her alone, they say. But, man, you show that video, and he looks so pervy and rapey, and the girl looks so young.
There's a quarter of our chat room right now. If they watch that video, Into the Night by Benny Medeiros, they would be shook.
I think we just didn't notice in the 80s. We were like, oh, it's no big deal. Like, I don't think people cared.
It's just odd that there was but there was a big blind spot to it. I remember as a kid, it started to be bad because I kind of remember the teenage girl thing that happened with Rob Lowe in a motel. And that was the first time I really remember them kind of coming down.
I believe it was a threesome he had with an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old.
Oh, my.
Yeah, but he did it at a time period where you didn't get canceled for it, which today, if something like that happened.
Well, even Kiss, Christine
16, yeah. I got to have her. I've got to have her.
16.
Gene Simmons singing about that.
Oh, he's gross. On such a deep level.
Yeah.
I watched.
Here's Into the Night, Virginia.
You're watching on YouTube. I'm showing the video, at least, for Benny Mardones. You can see him. He's just been denied by her dad at the front doorstep. But he's not going to stop there. Because he had said, she's just 16 years old, leave her alone, they say. So then he just goes around to her window where she is, and he's singing to her through the window, and you can see how young she is, and it's
My
just
gosh,
creepy AF.
she looks younger than 16.
Look how fucking messed up
She
this
looks like 13.
horrifying. It looks like there's a van in the background.
Oh my gosh.
It is just everything that it's as creepy as could possibly be. And then he goes to a payphone to give her a call then to continue talking to her when he gets chased away from the window. So this guy just doesn't give up. He is determined to have sex with this underage girl.
And in the beginning, the dad, they have an actor that mouths the words, "She's just 16 years old, leave her alone." And then when the dad closes the door, this creepy motherfucker looks in the camera. He's like, fuck that guy, fuck the dad.
Yeah, he's just so square and doesn't get it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is what we do, man. We come in and bang underage chicks. The only thing that would make this great, if you wanted to update this at the end, Chris Hansen pops into the video and they haul Benny Mardones away.
So, what you doing here, Benny?
That's how they make that complete.
Wow.
Talking about another song, you never heard of this. Mark said, there's a song from the 70s called Timothy by the Boys or the Buoys. I'm not sure if he misspelled there, but it was a song about miners that were trapped in a mine, and to survive, they had to eat Timothy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my, I have to watch this or read it. What is
Oh,
it?
there it is. You need to go find that.
I can't.
What
That is so
the hell?
Was Timothy their coworker?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. I have questions, but I don't want the answers.
I have to listen to that. Hopefully there's a video.
Just
Good Lord.
Some more
I mean,
fucked up
how did they
videos to
roll
check
this stuff
tomorrow.
out and we're just accepting it? Like, what was our society like?
Oh, man. Pretty fucked up.
Wow. I mean, yeah, if you look at today and you're like, wow, we're really messed up. I mean, honestly, rewind. Is today really? Yeah, we're messed up in different ways today.
That's just
You're
what
right.
We got different problems. We're still messed up.
We've
Yeah.
shifted our psychoses.
Yes.
Just we have different issues.
Make no mistake about it. We're just as fucked up.
Yes.
It's in different
Yeah.
areas.
Totally.
Well, Liz said, you know what? If you're saying it like I am, you need Jesus. She recommends checking out The Chosen. It is the life story of Jesus and his apostles. And she said there will only be 7 seasons. Apparently the story's already been written.
What happened? So, all right, it's been written.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
We know the end.
Yeah. Go to the Bible. It'll ruin it for you. Yeah. So she said it's on tons of services like Prime Video, Peacock, Netflix. She said season 4 you got to watch on the Chosen app, though. I think I've seen part of it. Yeah, it's an in-depth thing. In fact, they always have, I don't know if it's from the Chosen, but there's another Jesus show. And they always got that guy on the news channels. He's on there. He's like, and even Mark Wahlberg, would you like to pray with me for a minute? And then they pray right in the commercial. And then Jesus is praying with you in a commercial.
So is it a hologram Jesus or it's a
No, it's a dude the dude
acting
that played
Jesus.
Jesus, but now his whole life is Jesus. So he played Jesus, and I don't know if it's The Chosen or is another one. I can't remember. But that's this whole guy's act now. He's not gotten rid of the Jesus look.
So-
he walks through life looking just like Jesus still.
When Mark
Mark Wahlberg. He doesn't look like Jesus. There's another guy.
When he does, pray. Is he praying with the Jesus actor, or he's just saying?
I can't remember if he's on there. He might be on the commercial with the Jesus guy. I think the one I remember is Mark by himself. So he's doing a lot of that. Yeah, he's big into the Catholic kick. Maybe he was on the Jesus thing, but then yeah, dude. You got, because at that point, if you're on screen praying with Jesus, you got to pray better than Jesus, right? And that's a big acting challenge by Mark Wahlberg, because in a sense, you right there on screen have to outpray Jesus.
Either way, can we pray for the Funky Bunch? Because
Where are they today?
I think they could use a prayer.
They might be with Benny Mardones.
Oh,
That
Benny's
motherfucker's in hell.
Benny's dead.
Oh, is he? Oh,
Benny
gee,
died
well,
in 2020.
Let's not say that. Yeah.
No,
Benny's definitely dead.
I'm just making jokes.
I looked him up because I was like, maybe if we caught up with Benny and asked him, like, do you have an issue? Do you look at it differently now, your song from 1980? Like, when you watch it and you see your creepy old ass trying to snake this teen girl out of her house behind her dad's back. Like, how did this age for you in your head?
I think you just kind of hear that's a lot of what we did. And honestly, in fairness to those people, keep in mind, people got married at a younger age. I think my grandma Beulah was married at the age of 14 or 15, something like that. I think this was the scandal. My grandfather had snuck her across state lines, got married, and brought her back. They eloped without telling her family. She was married.
She was a rebel.
Yeah. And so those
At
kind of
14.
like 14 or 15.
That is something else.
So you look at that kind of stuff happened, and he wasn't arrested. I didn't like that. I mean, they didn't like it, but they're like, well, all right, hey, they're now married. So
He made an honest woman out of her.
Right. And that was that era. I mean, that was, I guess the 20s, 30s, something like that. So it was a thing. And down on the farm, back at the turn of the century, yeah, they were marrying chicks off at 14, 15. So, hey, you got a 14, 15-year-old girl still in the 1970s or 80s. They're like, all right, that's fair game, right? Hey.
Your perv voice
Yeah.
in the 80s is perfect.
Your 80s perv is dead on.
It's dead on. I don't like it, man.
No, it's not good. It made my skin crawl, too.
I was
but-
waiting for you to do that thing where the creepy guys do the slithering of the tongue.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible. Kevin.
Yeah. So you wonder why they were like that. I think that's what it was. And we've just now, our lifespan is longer. We just look at things differently. And
you're talking the entertainment field. They're monsters anyway. They've always been monsters.
Yeah.
They look at people as prey.
You're right.
yeah. So
It wasn't really till about 5 years ago motherfuckers started getting called out.
You're right.
And we're just in a different place now where our, societal standards have changed. It's just no longer allowed.
Now the biggest problem is people trying to fuck each other's robots.
Oh, that story yesterday, yeah.
I thought about
Sex
it.
dolls, yeah.
Yeah,
the
the
sex doll.
I apologize. They're gonna become robots, Virginia, and they're coming, and they're coming soon.
Don't say coming.
I meant that in a non-punny way, but it does work for a pun as well.
Yeah. I don't know if this means any kind of change, but did you see that Twitter will now officially allow porn? They say the content still must be properly labeled and not prominently displayed, meaning it can't be shown in profile pictures or banners. They say the guidelines also prohibit content that promotes exploitation, non-consent, objectification, sexualization, or harm to minors and obscene behaviors. But what does this really change? Weren't you able to still get Twitter porn last week or the week before?
I believe you were, and I swear to you on everything, I've never used my Twitter for porn. I've never used it for titter, nothing like
Titter.
that. And they would be not so much anymore, but they would be just titties galore, nakedness always showing up on my feed. And my other friends said the same thing. They go, I'm not going on Twitter to look at my porn, but
Yeah.
it would show up. And I'm wondering if that was a problem they were having.
Well, I was just wondering if this is a real story or if really nothing's changing and Twitter's just looking for some attention to let people know, hey, we always have and we'll continue to have porn here. It's allowed.
Well, I have a buddy of mine. He's like, oh, yeah, man, you can get great porn on Twitter. I'm like, I did not go on porn. Usually it was a lot
Yeah.
of just girls on cams and stuff trying to get you to sign up.
I rarely get titties on Twitter.
I don't get them anymore, but I'm wondering
Titter.
since it changed to X,
Yeah.
which looks like a,
Porn site.
without a doubt,
Right. X-rated.
it doesn't seem to happen anymore. But a lot of it was like a cam kind of a situation. Hey, click here if you want to see 4 minutes of free titties.
Well, that will probably do that. If you look at the OnlyFans, if anything did change, you would think now it'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm definitely going to go on there. But I guess you could before. That's just where I don't know if it's a non-story. It
Yeah.
feels like it might be to me, but yeah, they made that proclamation.
Did old Muskie trick us into talking about his platform?
He might have, yeah. I don't know.
He definitely got us talking about titties.
Yeah, he
That's
did.
something that's without a
Thank
doubt.
you. All right. Well, again, appreciate all your feedback and the emails. Send them to us, mail@kvjshow.com. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.